No, I wasn't playing with my dolls. I mean, action figures. Hello, world. I'm Chris Pirillo, and you're watching the LockerGnome Daily Report, or TLDR for short. Your daily dose of geek news, product views, and answers that you can use, like an answer to the question, why is Chris playing with Han Solo right now when he should be streaming this video live onto YouTube? Well, the answer is, well, because I can, and it's not hurting anything. So this is one product view for you today. It's an AMA video. We do this every Friday. Ask me anything. And if you ever wondered, Chris, what was one of the Star Wars figures you had when you were a kid? Well, number one, I'm no longer a kid. I'm just a kid trapped inside an adult's body. One of the Star Wars figures I had was this one. It's a Han Solo, original Han Solo. I was a fan of Han Solo. He was the character I would always play anytime, like, the kids in my neighborhood would play Star Wars, or, like, my brothers and I would be Han Solo, my brother Ben would be Luke Skywalker, and Adam wound up being Lando Calrissian. Don't ask me how that worked, but that's what it boiled down to. But I always hated the way Kenner designed the sculpt for Han Solo, the original figure, and that's in my right hand. This is the figure. This was my figure. I still have a lot of my original Star Wars figures. They're not in great condition, and I just unboxed this one. I showed it the other day. It is a almost fully articulated Han Solo, part of the Black Series, sent to me by DorksideToys.com, thanks to FlyGuy.net, and the detail on this Han Solo puts every other Han Solo figure I've ever had to absolute shame. The Black Series is breathtaking. There's not a joint on this particular figure that is not movable in some way, shape, or form as far as posing action figures is concerned, which is great for toy photography. So I was very, very happy that I got to play with my Han Solo today. Action figures make me happy. You make me happy too. And you know who else makes me happy? The now 780 patrons we have pledging their support for, doing these videos that I do for you every day. Patrons get bonus videos and other bonuses as well. We were at 780 a few days ago, but then unfortunately had some issues with some pledges that were false pledges, or pledges didn't come through. However, we are now back up to, I would say, a solid number, almost at 800, where I will start doing more things, especially for patrons, including the What's on My iPad video and some other fun video ideas to, I guess, further engage this community. So thank you for joining me. Very, very grateful that you are watching live, and if you're not watching live, become a patron. ChrisPirillo.com is really as easy as it gets, and if you value me more than the price of an action figure, hey, we're good to go. I don't know, where do I sit in the grand scheme of things? Am I more valuable than a video game? Am I more valuable than a cup of coffee? Am I more valuable than your electric bill? I don't know. No, I'm not, by the way. That's just FYI. I'm not more valuable than your electric bill, which explains a lot. Today's the last day of Spider-Man week on LockerGnome.com. Come Monday, we will be starting a completely new theme there, and if you haven't visited, you probably should. We've got some interesting things, including, I don't know if you guys knew this, but you can get a steep. It's not severe. Well, I guess it is severe. Steep discount on a 6-volume set of the classic Looney Tunes cartoons. 67% off the Golden Collection. Tremendous bargain on that one. 67% off. I grew up on the Looney Tunes. Some people say that, some people do stay. But some other people say that I am a Looney Tune. I'll always love cartoons. Also, we featured a Game of Thrones pop-up guide to Westeros. Those are not Spider-Man things. These are Spider-Man things. Or Venom, really. You always wanted to look like Spider-Man? There's a way you can get a mask. We also found a few rather fun Spider-Man videos. Spider-Man, Spider-Man, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, Scooby-Doo, Rocksteady crew, find him in Octoped Ingenue with flare hair. There goes the Spider-Man. Wop, wop, wop. Any other Moxie Früvous fans? Come on! I can't be the only one. And if the only Moxie Früvous song you know is King of Spain, I need to edumacate you. Because there are so many other good Moxie Früvous songs. Oh, it was the saddest day in my life. Well, not the sad. It was a sad day in my life when I found that Moxie Früvous had disbanded and would never get back together. So let's go ahead and jump into the questions asked by you, the wonderful community. As soon as I can find the web page to load all the questions, I I shouldn't have flipped tabs. I should have just flipped tabs. I'm out of breath. Okay, hang on. Whew. I wish I would have grabbed a glass of water before starting. Oh well, so be it. Here are the questions. Starting with George Baker. George Baker asked, this is actually a really bad thing to start out with, or good, I guess. George says, I had my first car crash today. I'm still very shaky, to be honest, but alive, and that is the main thing. Car needs work now, though. My question this week is, have you ever had a car crash of any size? Yes, I've been in 2 accidents. One of them, I guess it was a no fault. The other one was not my fault. No, actually, no, 3 accidents. 2 no faults, and the other one wasn't my fault. And either way, it's never fun to have to go through a car crash. I wouldn't say that they were gigantic. I mean, I was lucky to escape relatively unscathed. The worst of all of them, what do they call it? Jackknife? Like, okay, so I'm coming down a hill, and another car's zooming along, and it's a blind intersection. Like, you can't see, and it's uncontrolled, too. So there's no stop signs anywhere. And I always approach the intersections being very, very careful. And so I'm kind of creeping down the hill, kind of looking over, nothing. And then all of a sudden, before I know it, there's a car, like, right in front of me. This car was zooming along, and I kissed it, like, bam! And, I mean, I sent it across the intersection. But it was an uncontrolled intersection, and I swear I looked. I'm always meticulous when it comes to that, especially at uncontrolled intersections. It was ruled no fault. Neither one of us was injured, thank God, because of course I hit him driver's side, because I mean he's driving along this way, I'm driving this way, bam! But he was speeding. He even said he was late for work. He was speeding. He was definitely going far greater than 25, which would have been the posted speed limit. I would say almost worse than that. I was sandwiched, basically rear-ended by someone who had a rental car, and I almost shot under. Luckily, it was like standstill traffic, and so I was already at a stop. I mean, complete stop, and he pushed me in front, or he pushed me from behind into, I think it was a truck. Like a semi or like a big truck, and I didn't go under, but I crunched. It totaled the car according to the report, but luckily that wasn't my fault. And again, everybody escaped unscathed. So yes, I've been through a car crash before, and I've been very, very lucky to have gotten through it. Like I said, without a scratch. Greg Schaefer. Greg, sorry if that's not how you say your last name. Another patron asks, what's the most difficult aspect about working in a home office versus working away from home? Oh, that is a good question. It's a home office, but I call it my workshop now. The most difficult aspect is you've got to concentrate on getting work done, and you're at home. So unless your mind is concentrating on getting the task at hand completed, you're going to get distracted. Taking the dogs outside, getting a bite to eat, doing something, or forgetting to eat. I mean, there are a lot of things that I have to do today on a Friday when a lot of people are going home and relaxing or partying tonight. I'm buckling down and getting some work done that I need to get done. I got to script through a couple of things that I've got to do for sponsors. I got to return a couple of emails, make sure other things are set. By the way, one of the videos I'm doing for sponsors is with eBay. We're giving away eBay gift cards. Stay tuned for videos on that front. Everyone would be able to benefit from that. Well, we're not giving everyone a gift card. I've got 4 of them to give away, though. So the difficult part is just concentrating because you're at home, so you can do anything. But you got to get your work done, and I do my best to get my work. Hello, I'm here talking to you instead of playing with my action figures the whole time. Actually, you can't see my hand. My other hand's been busy playing with the action figure. I've been multitasking. Yeah. Not really. Tom asked, the weather is not so good over here in the UK, so plans on hold at the moment. British weather. Anyway, my question is, thank you for getting the question. Have you ever used Spreecast? No, I haven't. And what are the main differences between this and Google Plus Hangouts? Which one would you pick to use more regularly and why? Well, I haven't used Spreecast. I like Google Plus Hangouts. And the reason why, actually, we have a monthly Google Plus Hangout with patrons at a certain level and higher. I got to schedule that one, possibly even next weekend when Diana's back. We'll do it with Diana. Google, it makes it easy. It really does. The advantage of Google Plus is it's integrated with your Google account and tied into YouTube. That's also potentially a disadvantage, and that might be where I would use Spreecast. So it just depends on what I would want, what I would need, and I would choose which platform to use based on my wants, needs, ease of use, or really what each one does better than the other, or what each one doesn't do as better as the other one does. Yeah, I mean, even though two services may try to accomplish, or no, two services may actively accomplish the same goal, but sometimes one of them does it better, but just that one feature that you need for that one particular variable, to address that variable. So it's difficult for me to make blanket statements because I will tell you, it just depends. I haven't used Spreecast, but I'm pretty confident in saying that there's probably a time where I would, if I didn't want to use Google for something. And that's not to say that I wouldn't want to use Google for something. I'm just saying that sometimes I would. Do you guys know what I mean? I mean, I'm not slagging anything. I'm just saying it's very difficult to pick and choose. I mean, very difficult because rarely would I say I'm never going to use that particular product because you just never know when the situation calls for it or if it doesn't. Ryan Reeves, another patron, asks, have you been to any of your local craft breweries, and if so, which one has the best brews? Well, I can't say that I've gone to a lot of craft breweries. I've certainly gone to brew houses. I usually ask if there's a porter or a stout on tap, and I've kind of been disappointed. For some reason or another, bars, as well as, craft brew houses, I think, do it differently. Usually they have one or two on tap. Usually, not always. But it was at a local brewery that I discovered a mocha porter, and that's really what kind of got me going into mocha porters. Now, my favorite kind of beer is a Russian Imperial Stout, or just an Imperial Stout in general. It doesn't have to be Russian. Although right now Slav looks a lot like one of the Russian Imperial Stouts that I drink. I don't know if there's any brewery or label or craft whatever that has the best overall. I guess my tastes are wide and varied, but I tend to like the beers with a personality, and that's why I tend to like stouts and porters. Although I like them with a bite too. I like things with bite, strong flavor, strong, because I'm not, so I need to overcompensate or compensate for my lack of strength. Johannes, another patron, asks, who's the most famous person you have met, seen, talked to? I will learn code at Code Academy all weekend because it's bad weather in Norway at the moment. Okay. Did I ask? Oh, yeah, because I asked how the weather was doing in your area. I guess that's why everyone's saying what the weather's, how the weather is. Sometimes my memory fails me. Not only am I not strong, but I apparently can't remember anything I said. The most famous person? Weird Al Yankovic. I only say that because I've met him, I've talked to him, we've interacted, never professionally, really, other than the interview I did, very brief interview. But I'd say that because he actually remembers me. He knows who I am. That's cool. So I think that I've got a place in my heart for Weird Al Yankovic, and always will for the rest of my life. Rick Sayre, another patron, asks, okay, here's my question. Since you are a soon-to-be father, who would you pick out of these to be the best father? Andy Griffith to Opie, or Herman Munster to Eddie? I'd say Herman Munster to Eddie, because his sense of humor is wacky. That's all I remember that's my Herman Munster impression. Fred Gwynne, was it, who played that character? I also remember the actor from My Cousin Vinny. He played the judge with a southern accent. Not very Herman Munster-like. Herman Munster, because I just liked his sense of humor. Andy Griffith was funny, but in a different kind of down-homey kind of way. Yeah. Andrew, another patron, asks, how do you manage your online presence, and are there any software that you use to help you? No. I use anything at my disposal. I usually just go directly to the website or webpage. Twitter.com, Facebook.com, Googleplus.com, or Google.com/ whatever the hell. You know what I'm talking about. Or apps. I don't use any other services. Apps are easy enough to manage independently. Roman Lubers, another patron, asks, old tech versus new tech. Is it just me, or does the new stuff lack the pop and off factor of older technologies? That's interesting. Uh, he goes on to ask, what do you see on the horizon for the next big thing in the world of tech, outside of the software making the hardware we use more functional? I probably have talked about this before, but I think you've just become acclimated to technology. I mean, it's no longer, it's new, but we've had it in our lives for how long now? I mean, it's just like, at one point in time, having a PC was a big deal, and it was cool to have a PC. Not anymore, because we are now, everyone and their grandmothers seem to be carrying around a smartphone or a tablet. I mean, it's ubiquitous. It's a given. And technology, at one point, when I grew up with it, it wasn't that way at all. The word geek, people kind of like, you like computers, weirdo. Well, now it's just a given. People use computers, whether they're talking about a pocket computer, a tablet computer, a traditional type of computer. So it doesn't necessarily lack the pop. It's just that you become acclimated to it. That's it. There's more of it around. So for something to come out and really change the game, it's got to be dramatically different, and it's got to be something that fills a certain need in your life. And really, there hasn't been a lot of that. There hasn't been a lot of disruption in a lot of industries. And that's not a bad thing. I mean, I don't mind incremental improvements over time. I look for technology to improve my life. I don't look to technology for the specs. The specs are irrelevant, and I don't care if you're one of the people. I'm sorry, if you believe that specs are everything, you obviously do not understand technology, because that's only part of it. It's a small part of it. The overarching experience is everything. Specs are but a part of the overarching experience. Christopher McAuliffe, another patron, asks, how do you feel about Apple potentially buying Beats? I actually tweeted about this earlier. He says, I'm sad because that I enjoy that technology in my HTC 8X and was looking forward to it being in more Windows Phone models. So I don't know if this has been confirmed directly. I mean, there's suggestions that this is real, so I don't want to further the rumor. But even some parties, non-Apple, have accidentally or potentially not accidentally leaked the fact that there was a buyout. So if Beats were assumed by Apple, a lot of people have been wondering why, and I think a lot of people are missing the mark on this. I tweeted, I think it was Beats. That's what a nerd does to you if he or she sees you wearing one. That's right. I mean, I tried Beats like when they first were released, and I can't say I was all that impressed with them. And not because I was an audiophile. They were okay, but they were just kind of cheap and plasticky. So I don't think, and I know there's a lot of speculation. We may never know. Although my guess, I'm going to give you my guess. Anybody who thinks that Apple's acquiring Beats because of the technology, I think is missing the mark in a big way. It's not about forget about the headphone itself. Just forget it. If they may have acquired it for the streaming service. I think that's feasible, although Apple could have, handled that on their own. I think it's a deeper value of the team that was responsible for making Beats, the whole experience, happen, with deep ties in the music industry. So it could have been an acqui-hire, a very expensive one, potentially some relationships to come along with that. You just got to look at it past what you see. So at a substantially deeper level, and I think this is really what I think the Beats acquisition, if it were to happen, would be about. Culture. Whether you think Beats suck is irrelevant. I see them all over the place. All over. I'm flying around, traveling or whatever, just traveling across town, going to the shop. I see this B, and I'm like, I know it's a Beats. It's culture. And I think that's what Apple's buying into. They're buying into that culture. And despite hardware being a very difficult industry to make, or, if you're selling hardware, specifically even in headphones, it's difficult to make money. But Beats generated, $1 billion in revenue last year? Something along those lines. So they're making money. And people, whether or not they're the best products out there, want to buy them. They want to own that logo. Hello, what have some people accused Apple of over the years? Well, I wouldn't say that Apple's had inferior products, but they certainly come at a premium. And I have no problem with that, because I'll pay for a premium when I think it's worth it. And I think Apple's products are worth it. When I pay a premium for Beats, maybe they've changed over the years from the first time that I tried one when they were first released. I don't know. By the way, I forgot. You guys need to remind me if I forget this midway through the broadcast. I want to run through the list of patrons to give them credit. Of course, we have more than just the people you will see listed here in this particular presentation, or websites. If you wanna have yours featured, just got to become a patron at chrispirillo.com at that patron tier. So I think it's culture, and anybody else who's not speaking to that, the value of that culture and that value of just having it everywhere, I think is missing the mark. I don't think it was an acquisition for technology. So it was either for the talent, for the team, or it was for the culture. And potentially even revenue generation too. I mean, they're making money. They're obviously not losing money. Christopher McAuliffe asks. Oh wait, no, Chris, I already answered I was going to read a question, but I think I answered that one yesterday. Sorry. I'm going to move on to the next patron. Stephen Palmer asked, "What's your favorite Simpsons moment?" Mine is when Homer picks up the phone and asks the operator, "What's the number for 911?" "Hey, operator, what's the number for 911?" "Quick, what's the operator? What's the?" Or no, I think wasn't it something like that? "Hey, operator, what's the number for 911?" I think it was something like that. And then I remember Chief Wiggum answering the phone once, and I don't know if it was the same one as said, "No, you got the wrong number. This is 912." I don't know. There's so many good moments, but I would say I'm talking about classic Simpsons, like in the early years. That's when to me that I just love those episodes still to this day. I don't know. I don't know if I have a favorite moment. I just catchphrases or certain things that were said. Every once in a while, I'll find myself screaming them like, "Help me, Jeebus!" That was a good one. Sorry for all you headphone wearers out there. At least I'm not pounding the table. John Whitaker, a patron, asks, "Hey, Chris, if you could freeze time for 1 hour, what sort of mischief would you get up to?" Hey, John, if I could freeze time for an hour, I would use that time to catch up on work. God, how pathetic am I? That's really, I'm boring. Marisa Rocha, or is it Marissa Rocha, asks, and she's a patron, "What is your favorite Lego set of all time?" Marissa, I don't know if I have a favorite one of all time. I love the Death Star. It was a good build. I think my favorite set of all time is always the set that I'm putting together. I don't know why. I mean, I live in the moment. It's my zen. And I have a supporter, Datalore was his handle. Steven is his name. He's the one that he catalyzed my fascination with Lego again. He was someone who hung out in the chat room when we were still running it at live.pirillo.com, and he came over to America for the first time for Gnome Decks, one of the conferences that I ran back in the day. And he brought with him, as a gift between him and his wife, I can't remember if he had his baby at that point. But anyway, he brought over a Star Destroyer. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of neat, I guess. Star Wars, I like Star Wars. And Lego, I haven't played with Lego forever. I'm like, okay. And then one day, I was just having a very bad day. And I put that set together in about a day's time. It took a few hours. It was a big set. Right here, at this very desk. And I have Steven to thank. You have Steven to thank. Thank you, Steven. Thank you, Datalore. You don't realize just how these people impact your lives, my life. It just takes one person. My friend Slav, he's a Whovian. He's a bigger Whovian than I am, and I got him into Doctor Who. He's a bigger fan than I am. It's just kind of neat when you bring someone to find something they enjoy. I get a kick out of it. JC Ernst, another patron, asks, "Is it possible to have a serious business and still have fun?" Yes. I'm so driven, he says, that working for myself tends to stress me out, but I have a low tolerance for stress. Can you have fun at your job and still be successful? Do you have any tips? Well, if I did not find joy in doing what I do, I'd probably have to find something else. Life's not worth living unless you can have fun with it. And this is, one of the reasons why, I guess, the older I get, the younger I feel. I don't know. I've always been fascinated with figures, and I always loved Star Wars and Lego. But I put those things to the side for so long. And I like talking about technology and trends, and you gotta admit, I've nailed it 9 times out of 10 in the past. Like when I talk about that, the trends and stuff, I usually do a fair job. You know, I don't like spreading rumors, and you know, I'll tell you what I feel about certain things. But that's not. I mean, it's interesting for me, but and sometimes I get excited about it. But you know, and a new gadget is fun to play with too. But to me, it's not just the new gadget for the sake of the new gadget. It's the sake of the experience, right? I very rarely have looked at a piece of hardware and just been blown away, and like the engineering behind it. I mean, I care about it, but it's another one of the reasons why it doesn't bother me when, you know, it's a plastic phone. It doesn't bug me as much as it might bug other people. You know, I'm like, well, it's still a good experience. I mean, you know, you could do this, you could do that, it's this, that. You know, it's the overarching experience. So I look at technology differently, which is one of the reasons why it's difficult for me to be a quote unquote tech YouTuber, because I don't fit that mold. The way that they're doing things, I can't do it myself. So I want to address that, you know, that part, to be able to talk, to give my experiences and a quote unquote review for a product with, and then bring in a team to record it in such a way that it can be recorded in a way that I couldn't do it myself. So I can talk about my experience and someone else could do the recording and like highlight the hardware and stuff, because you would enjoy that potentially if you like tech, or if you love tech. But I don't record videos that way. I never really have. Look back in history. I mean, I don't do it. I've never done it that way. I've always been a talking head. So yeah, I think it's possible to have a serious business and have fun, because I have a very serious business. And I shot first. Mark Nitz, another patron. What is the best thing you have done in the tech field? Asks Mark. I think influencing people is the best thing I've done in any field, but tech certainly. I think influencing. I want to leave the world in a better place than I was brought into it. Phil asked, what was the first, and again, this is a patron, what was the first MP3 you ever bought or downloaded? I can't even remember. I think someone gave me a CD of old 80s songs. I think that was it, really. I didn't really collect music. Never did. I never really did. So I never got into the whole downloading music illegally thing. Hey, hand me the bootleg. I can't remember if I asked for it or not. But, you know, fast forward to today, and I'm like, I've always been a fan of music subscription services, so I can't remember. I really can't, but it was probably an 80s song. John Prosser asks, or really poses, and John's been very helpful. I've been talking back and forth with John. He's helping me with a couple of projects, and it's possible that John and I will continue to work together. I've even asked him, you know, if he could do a different type of video, potentially for this channel, what would it be? And we're talking, because I think I've watched what John does with Front Page Tech in his own channel, and I just like his style. I like the style. I laugh. I'm like, and it's hard to get me to laugh at something, but I just like the style. But he has a newsy show, and so I wouldn't want to do the same kind of thing that we're doing now, but I think that he's got talent, and he's got drive, and he's someone that, as I identify the type of people I would want to work with or bring into the team, John is one of those people. Anyway, so John is a patron as well, and he says, interesting thoughts. Let's just say when baby Pirillo becomes a 13-year-old Pirillo, he or she wants to start their own YouTube channel, assuming the platform still exists. Would you be open to that? Considering how negative and hurtful some people can be on the internet, at what age do you think it would be appropriate to start uploading media content online, knowing that the child will be subject to feedback from others? Well, here's the thing. Whether YouTube exists or not, the social pressures will still exist. Whether they're putting their life out on YouTube or whether they're keeping it on Facebook or Twitter or whatever, or Instagram, whatever the service is, they're still going to be subject to bullying. Whether it's on a grand scale or a smaller scale, they're still going to have those experiences. So, if anything, if I act as a model or Diana acts as a model for them to reflect, they will be better off with a YouTube channel than they would without. Just think about that for a moment. You know, I got off on a tear yesterday talking about cyberbullying, but you can't turn that off. You know, there's a time when I was growing up, we didn't have this, right? You went home, you were no longer bullied. Well, now you're bullied 24/7 potentially, and that sucks unless you know how to deal with it. And to be able to give that child the tool to deal with it, I'd rather give that child those tools, those mental tools to deal with it earlier on, so they can deal with it throughout life. And I think it's I don't think it's important for everyone to have a YouTube channel, but certainly I want to be able to leave my business in a state where I can basically pass it to the child and say, all right, here's what I've done, here's how I've done it. You can do the same thing for yourself. Here's where I've left the business. Here's how it's going. Here's what we can do. Here's what you can do. Here's how you can do it. I've got things that I've thought about, like not only just expanding the team to have it, I'm sorry guys, to have it exist beyond me, but I've thought about different product lines too. I want to design a series of I'll just tell you. I'll just tell you flat out. All transparency. I want to design a series of figures, kind of like like Monies or Dunnies, or like Funko Pop vinyl, or Skill Animals. There's these variations on a certain theme, and I've wanted to do that with figures. And take that wherever it goes. I want to do a subscription box type of service where I don't want to talk. Okay, I gotta wait until I can figure out if I can engineer it. I'm not an engineer, so I gotta figure out how to make a box do something that I need it to do. And I'm not an engineer, so I couldn't design something to make it do what I needed it to do. But the subscription box idea has to do with the box itself. That's all I'm going to say. And it's a great. I'm telling. I ran it past a few people, and they're like, "Oh my god, it's a great idea." So I want to do that, and launch a product so that it goes beyond just me blah 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 into the camera every other week, or I'm sorry, every other hour seemingly. And I should probably be wrapping up, folks. I'll answer a few more Patreon questions if I can. By the way, and I answered even more questions from anybody on my blog, chris.pirillo.com. So if anybody out there is complaining that I'm only paying attention to patrons, that's wrong. Flat out wrong. The onus is on you to prove it, because I've already proven you wrong if you were to say something like that. Reese Langham asks, what are your thoughts on the LEGO video games such as LEGO Harry Potter? Cool, but I'm a big fan of the actual bricks themselves. Jake Jordan asks, whatever happened to Gnome Decks? Why did it stop? And do you think you may ever do something similar in the future? Gnome Decks died because, unfortunately, the community wasn't being addressed effectively, or my online community didn't really want it. Even Vloggerfair, which is kind of like the replacement of Gnome Decks, is doing well, but I still need to tweak it. I mean, you're watching this video, but I doubt you're going to come to Seattle for Vloggerfair. I mean, it's just a sad reality. And I've got to figure out how to change that, or to create an event that people would want to come to. That's what I want to do. And I don't know what that is. I don't think it's come see Chris Pirillo speak. I mean, maybe it is. Maybe it's as simple as that. I got 780 patrons. Maybe it is as simple as come hear Chris Pirillo speak for a day. God, that would be, okay, I'm not going to call myself stupid, but I want to try to deliver more than just me. Ryan Collins asks, Chris, let me ask you, where's the bacon? Downstairs. I'm still actually eating it. I know I pretended to eat it all the first day after Diana left, but I'm still eating it. Callum Wiggy, and this will be the last questions I take, and these were all asked by patrons, because remember, patrons, the $5 support level and higher get priority in AMA. But I laid that out. That's just it's a bonus, man. It's a bonus. It's an easy bonus. It's a simple bonus. I'm trying to give bonuses to as many people as I possibly can, but my priority are the patrons, because they're honestly, smaller number, but huge impact on my bottom line and being able to expand the team. Callum asks, when Windows 9 comes out, will you consider doing a switch for a month? Probably not. I'll be honest with you. Nope. Not interested. Told you, in order for me to switch or consider it, there's got to be pain. And unless Apple starts to introduce a massive amount of pain at some point in the near future, I don't see it happening. Got to be painful. Pain. Pain is a great motivator. And it's not so much about having a better platform on the other side. It's about something that you're currently in providing or giving you too much pain. And I don't feel any pain right now. And hopefully this video didn't cause anybody any discomfort or pain. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for remembering to like, share, comment, subscribe. Watch even more of our videos right now. If you are a patron, your bonus video today, because we've now done how many? 25 bonus videos now? The bonus video today, I think, is how to survive, or what would I do in a zombie apocalypse, or to survive a zombie apocalypse? That's the question I'm going to be answering. It's exclusive. This was asked by a patron, so I'm going to answer it. It's as simple as it gets. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you for caring, because I do care about everybody, every single person out there, except for the people who don't care about me. Why should I care about someone who doesn't care about me? It's just wasted care. So, at this point, I'm going to leave you to your own devices. We'll you later.